council to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Young.
Here.
Peter. Fire. Here. Niles. Here. Miller.
Here.
Randall. Lars.
Here.
Tully.
Here.
Alderwoman Teeter and Alderman Bramble are excused tonight. At this time, we'll entertain public participation. Anyone wishing to address the council may do so. Seeing none, we'll move on to a presentation on the preliminary plat of Meadow Springs Conservancy, please. Bill, you want to lead this?
Oh, you go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to pass this out and also put it up on the screen. This is a follow-up to the discussion we had 2 weeks ago regarding the lots out on Conservancy Place, we're calling it, or along Dewey. At that time, we had just a preliminary layout for lots along Dewey, and then if you recall, we would have the configuration for the lots up at the old clubhouse. So since that meeting, what we've done is taken information back as far as what you guys were interested in seeing, and what we have along the south side of Dewey is now 10 lots. Previously, this was the cul-de-sac on the south end. That was originally platted as 17 lots. So right now, what we have is lots 1 through 10 along Dewey. We have a minimum lot width of 100 feet. They're all about 101.75 feet, which is what you guys wanted to come back with. We also have approximately a 25-foot gap between the south property line and of Lot 10 and the north property line of Pondview Court subdivision there. So these lots are still right around third-acre lots, roughly 150 foot deep. Again, 101.75 feet. These would be zoned as the SR2 zoning, which is consistent with what is there now. So I guess before I move on to the clubhouse, is there any questions on this lot configuration that we have right now?
This is what it looks like after the direction of the council from the last meeting.
And lot number 10 and part of 9, is that showing where there's going to be problems as far as with water? Yeah, I'm seeing that almost looks like a drawing of a pond, but is that just
That's a berm. That's a berm.
A berm?
That's a berm behind that former.
Yeah, this is just existing grades that are out there right now.
Okay.
Tim?
Yeah, I think that, to be fair about it is, this really isn't the layout that staff would propose to you. It's really based on the discussion we had 2 weeks ago. I think what we say is there should be a narrower lot width, and that eliminates 2 development opportunities, 2 lots. And we look at it, somewhat purely financial. That's probably $15,000 a year over 10 years. That's $150,000 by eliminating those 2 lots. And I think that's significant. The one thing I would say is this isn't sort of necessarily your typical subdivision that you would find. This is kind of more of an infill site with, mature developed neighborhoods around it. And, certainly the configuration that you have here is consistent with, some of that. If this were a new subdivision, I think we'd probably even be more strenuous in our suggestion that, go with a narrower lot width, simply because that's just what you're going to find in the future. I'm confident in telling you that. I think I had mentioned, you're gonna see smaller lots and you're gonna see more multifamily. If there's any hope to impact, just the chronic lack of housing, not only in our neighborhood, in our community, but in the state of Wisconsin and nationally. So I think, to Bill's point, I think this is a reflection of that last discussion that we had. And I assume we'll move forward. It's scheduled for a plan commission discussion next week, where I think I'd expect them to, approve this.
Right, and again, if you guys recall, the process is, we already have a preliminary plat that had been approved by the Plan Commission. The council had also seen that. The reason that we're bringing this back is because there is significant changes to that configuration, both on Dewey and the clubhouse. So we would take this back in front of the Plan Commission for preliminary plat approval that will not come back in front of the council. And then once we have the site plan approval from for the clubhouse lot, which I'll shift over to. Once we have that, then we would bring the final plat to the Plan Commission as well as the City Council and approve that and advance it to the state for review. So this configuration is based on what the engineers provide us from SEH, who's working on this on behalf of Loose Homes. So as you can see here, we have 5 lots.
Bill, if I may,
Oh, yes.
just to go back to wrap up the discussion on South Dewey there.
Sure.
So, Tim, you said the loss in tax base over 10 years would be about 150,000, and the cost of the lots up front, wasn't it established that we could sell we could sell 2 more lots for approximately $30,000?
Probably, I'd say 37.5.
So just to understand the loss of value that we're voluntarily incurring here is $60,000 up front and another $150,000 over the first 10 years, and then every year going forward, so that we can have 100-foot lots instead of 85-foot lots, which one of the developers that we've been working with recommended.
Correct.
Okay. So we're talking about $250,000 easily.
10 years.
I just don't see it. And really, you look at those lots on the other side of Dewey, they're much smaller than the ones that we're developing. We're in the original subdivision between Elm Street and Spring Street. Those lots are considerably less than the ones that we're laying out here. So I don't know. I tend to obviously side with staff on this, and I think between the people who build houses for a living and people that approve this kind of thing, they have a pretty good handle on things. And maybe the difference is we're not doing it the way that Brown's Incorporated used to do when it was, back in the 60s when they built Brown Avenue, or even in the 2000s when they built the subdivision that I live in now. Because we do have 100-foot wide lots. I don't think my lot is any better or any worse because of that. I wouldn't like it any less if it was 15 feet narrower. So that's my personal perspective. But just so we're all cognizant about what the costs of these, doing it this way would be. Anybody else have any input? Because staff is not in favor of this, but they did what you told them to do. So if there's no other questions or comments, this will be forwarded on to the Plan Commission, and it will be considered then. Anything else from you guys? Okay, thank you. Next, we'll move on to resolution number 94, tonight's consent agenda. Alderwoman Fire, please.
Honorable Mayor, council members, and citizens, City of Jefferson Resolution Number 94. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that the consent agenda for February 15, 2022 is hereby adopted. Vouchers payable for February 2022 in the amounts of $225,454.18 and December 2021 in the amounts of $8,294.34. Payroll summary for February 11, 2022 in the amounts of $172,805.95 and January manuals in the amounts of $15,402.96. December manuals in the amounts of $678.36. Council minutes from January 18, 2022 of the Common Council. Licenses as approved by the Regulatory Committee. We had 2 operators licensed. We had Noah Houston for Macy's Station and Tricia Job for Fairview. And we had a temporary Class B license for Jefferson County Democratic Party for President's Dinner on April 23rd. I would so move.
It's been moved for a second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Lars. Any discussion?
Yeah, Mayor, should the minutes be from February 1st?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Any other questions or comments? Make that note. If not, all in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye as your name is called, no if you're opposed.
Alderwoman Fire.
Aye.
Niles.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Lars.
Aye.
Tully.
Aye.
Young.
Thank you. This time I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session pursuant to section 19.85 parent 1 CE of the Wisconsin State Statutes to discuss purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conduction of other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, and to discuss the hire of 2 full-time public works crew persons. I'll entertain a motion. Mrs. Niles, second by Mr. Lars. All in favor signify by saying aye as your name is called, please.
Alderwoman Niles.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Lars.
Aye.
Tully.
Aye.
Young.
Aye.
Fire.
Aye.
Thank you. We will reconvene to open session and have a few more points of business. Okay, we are reconvened to open session. At this time, we'll ask Alderman Miller to read resolution number 95, a resolution authorizing the hire of a public works crew person.
Thank you, Mayor, fellow council members, and citizens. City of Jefferson Resolution Number 95. Whereas the Public Works Department has an immediate opening for a crew person position, and whereas Public Works Director Pino is recommending that Caleb Strick be hired by the City of Jefferson to fill the vacant position, and whereas the Personnel Committee has reviewed the recommendation of Public Works Director Pino and also recommends the hiring of Caleb Strick to the Common Council. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that it herein authorizes the Public Works Director to hire Caleb Strick at a starting wage rate of $22 per hour, placed in grade 4 between step 6 and the maximum of the City of Jefferson compensation plan, and be given 9 days, 72 hours of PTO, placed on year 1 of service of the City of Jefferson PTO schedule, upon passing the required medical and drug screening. Employment shall commence no later than March 7th, 2022. I so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Tully. Bill, can you give us just a little background on Caleb Strick, please?
Caleb is a resident of Jefferson, graduate of Jefferson High School, currently works locally. He does have a valid Class B CDL, we've done an extensive background and criminal check on Caleb, and I think he will fit in well with the employee or with the staff as recommended for my interview process from not only myself but also our foreman and lead crew person.
Great. Does anyone have any questions of Bill? Hearing none, all in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye as Sarah calls your name.
Alderman Lars.
Aye.
Tully.
Aye.
Young.
Aye.
Fire.
Aye.
Niles.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye. It's unanimous, thank you. Welcome Caleb Strike to the team. Resolution number 96, a resolution authorizing the hire of another public works crew person. Alderman Tully, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor Opperman, City of Jefferson, Resolution Number 96. Whereas the Public Works Department has an upcoming opening for a crew person position due to a pending retirement, and whereas Public Works Director Pino is recommending that David Check be hired by the City of Jefferson to fill the resulting vacant position, and whereas the Personnel Committee has reviewed the recommendation of Public Works Director Pino and also recommends the hiring of David Check to the Common Council. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that it herein authorizes the Public Works Director to hire David Check at a starting wage rate of $23 per hour, placed in grade 4 between step 6 and the maximum on the City of Jefferson compensation plan, and be given 9 days, which is 72 hours, of PTO, placed on year 1 of service of the City of Jefferson PTO schedule, upon passing the required medical and drug screenings. Employment shall commence no later than April 4th, 2022. I would so move.
It's been moved, is there a second?
Second.
A second by Alderman Miller. And Bill?
Sure. David is also a fairly local resident from Port Atkinson. He also has a valid Class B CDL. He's gone through the same background checks as I mentioned earlier. David, again, very, very highly recommended from within our department. And Caleb would not be starting immediately. David would not be starting immediately. He would be starting in April after the retirement of a long-term employee.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions of Bill? Hearing none, all in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye as your name is called.
Alderman Tully.
Aye.
Young.
Aye.
Fire.
Aye.
Niles.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Lars.
Aye.
Welcome David Zeck to our team as well. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been moved by Alderman Lars,
Second.
second by Alderwoman Byer. Voice vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Have a good night. Drive carefully.